What if a forest wanted you dead? You might think that forests are the perfect place to go when you're feeling down. They're relaxing, they look nice, and most of all, they're full of trees which can't hurt you. But what if one forest did want you dead? That's exactly what makes this next place so terrifying. In Japan, there is a forest known as the suicide forest, or by its Japanese name, Aokigahara. In fact, it's said that over 1 million people visit this forest every single year. You may think that you're strong enough to survive it, but trust me, it's not worth the risk. Now you may be wondering why this forest has become such a popular place for people to take their own lives. Well, for starters, it's very secluded, and there's not much light getting into the forest. This means that it's very dark and gloomy, and it's thus not a very uplifting place to be. It's like the forest itself is sucking the happiness out of you. The suicide forest is also home to a number of caves, and these caves are just as dangerous as the forest itself. In fact, it's said that many of the people who have died in the forest have actually died in the caves. The trees are so close together that it's very easy to get lost, and if you do get lost, you'll probably die from starvation or dehydration. The forest floor is also covered in a thick layer of leaves, and this makes it very difficult to walk. You'll often find yourself sinking into the leaves, and it can be very hard to pull yourself out. But despite all of the dangers, people still go to this forest every year. Some of them come here to relax and enjoy the scenery. Will you be able to avoid the caves, the poisonous plants, and the predators? Or will you be claimed by the forest itself? The choice is yours. But be warned, the forest is not for the faint of heart, while others come here to take their own lives. But no matter what your intentions are, the forest is sure to test you. And if you fall, you could easily injure yourself and no one would ever find you. So if you ever find yourself in Japan, stay away from this forest at all costs. There are plenty of places around the world that are just as scary as the suicide forest. And if you're not prepared, you could be in for a world of hurt. From the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia to the skeleton coast of Namibia, from the colorful but poisonous lakes to the bubbling mud pools, this place is not for the weak. The skeleton coast of Namibia is just as eerie. Here you'll find the skeletons of ships that have been lost at sea. And if you're not careful, you could be the next casualty. There are plenty of places that you should never go if you value your life. There are plants that can make you go blind, plants that can paralyze you, and even plants that can kill you outright. All of this makes the forest a very dangerous place to explore, but it doesn't stop there. There is also the Skull Cave, where it's said that you can hear the screams of those who have died here. And then there is the Devil's Cauldron, where it's said that you can make a wish and whatever you wish for will come true, but it comes at a great cost. There are snakes, spiders, and even wolves that live in this forest, and they're not afraid of humans. If you're already injured, you're sure to be an easy target for these animals. So even if you manage to avoid the caves and the poisonous plants, you still have to worry about the predators. It may look like a nice place to relax, but trust me, it's not worth the risk. Many of them come here to relax and enjoy the scenery, while others come here to take their own lives. You can't hear much besides the wind blowing through the trees and the birds chirping. And this silence can be very deafening. It's like the forest itself is sucking the happiness out of you. So if you ever find yourself in Japan, stay away from this forest at all costs. It may look like a nice place to relax, but trust me, it's not worth the risk. It's like the forest itself is trying to drown out the sounds of the world. Well, for starters, it's very secluded, and there's not much light getting into the forest. This means that it is very dark and gloomy, and it's not a very uplifting place to be. There's also the fact that the forest is very quiet. You can't hear much besides the wind blowing through the trees and the birds chirping, and the silence can be very deafening. It's like the forest itself is trying to drown out the sounds of the world. And if that's not enough, the forest is also very still. There's not much movement in this forest besides the occasional bird or animal, and the stillness can be very unnerving. It's like the forest is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. And if that's not enough, the forest is also very still. There's not much movement in this forest besides the occasional bird or animal, and the stillness can be very unnerving. It's like the forest is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The forest has become so infamous for suicides that the police have actually had to set up checkpoints to try and stop people from entering. But despite all of these efforts, people still find a way to get into the forest, and many of them do and come out alive. This forest is located at the base of Mount Fuji and covers an area of 1,200 square kilometers. For years, this forest has been known as the place where people come to die. In fact, it's said that more than 100 people have taken their own lives in this forest alone. And to make things even worse, the forest itself seems to encourage this. Now, you may be wondering why this forest has such a dark reputation. Well, for starters, the forest is full of poisonous plants and deep, dark caves that could easily trap you inside. There's also the fact that the trees in this forest are extremely close together, meaning that it's very easy to get lost. There's also the fact that the forest is home to a wide variety of animals, many of which are not afraid of humans. There are wild boars, deer, monkeys, and even bears that live in this forest. And if you run into one of them, you won't be able to escape because the trees are just too close together. And if you do get lost, you'll probably starve to death because there isn't much food in this forest. There's also the added danger that since this forest is so close to Mount Fuji, you run the risk of being crushed by falling rocks or killed by volcanic gases. So if you somehow manage to survive all of that, then you still have to deal with the forest itself. Since the trees are so close together, it makes it extremely difficult to tell which direction you're facing. This means that you have no idea where you're going, and you probably end up walking in circles until you die. If that doesn't scare you off, then maybe the fact that the ground is always covered in a thick fog will. This fog is so thick that you literally can't see anything beyond 50 meters. It's like trying to walk through a thick cloud, and it's very easy to get disoriented. And if all of that wasn't enough, but despite all of these dangers, people still go to this forest every year. So if you ever find yourself in Japan, stay away from this forest at all costs. There's also the fact that the forest is very quiet. So if you're already feeling depressed, this forest is the last place you want to be. You may be wondering why this forest has become such a popular place for people to take their own lives. So if you're already feeling depressed, this forest is the last place you want to be. One of the most famous caves is the Ice Cave, and it is said that anyone who enters this cave will die within 10 minutes. But even if you avoid the caves, the forest itself is still dangerous. But perhaps the most dangerous thing about the forest is the fact that it is home to a wide variety of poisonous plants. The forest is also home to a wide variety of animals, many of which are predators. The forest is truly a dangerous place, and it is no wonder that so many people have died here. Will you be able to survive the darkness, the silence, and the stillness? As we've seen, the suicide forest is a dangerous place, but there are also other places around the world that are just as scary. In the Danakil Depression, you'll find a landscape that looks like something out of a nightmare. So if you're looking for an adventure, be careful where you go.